Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Wrestling vs. the World podcast. So enjoying your day, sweet. If not, what the hell ever. So, I thought I'd go over another episode of a TV show that had a wrestling theme to it. Last time we went over Ed and Eddy's Tag Your Ed episode. And today, it's time for Garfield and Friends, Season 5, Episode 8, known as Canvas Back Cat. And this one I really chose because, Garfield and Friends is kind of like a guilty pleasure for me. I used to watch it all the time back when I was in elementary school before going to school. So, it's time for nostalgia here. So, the episode begins with Odie and Garfield relaxing in the living room chair together, tuning into professional wrestling on television. And this highly jacked up guy in a red and purple colored mask is threatening to tie someone into a pretzel and put mustard on them. So, you're going to twist them and make them smell like piss? And then we find out his name is the Masked Mauler, so let's not confuse him with the Masked Mumbler from last week's podcast episode, okay? He wants an opponent, but he just doesn't know who he's going to face yet. Just have Taylor book him one-on-one against The Undertaker. That'll end that mystery of a mystery opponent there. So John, he decides he wants to go out. Garfield and Odie decide, hey, we're not getting out of this chair for anything in the world. But then John says, oh, I'm going to get pizza. And then that gets Garfield's attention to suddenly go along. I mean, that'll get Garfield's attention for anything. So upon arriving to the pizzeria, the Masked Mauler is talking with his manager, who says he can't wrestle anymore because nobody wants to face him. So Mauler ends up pounding on the table in frustration, which launches his pizza into the air, and Garfield catches the pizza perfectly in his mouth, and he's already a better catcher than The Miz. So this then motivates the Masked Mauler to go after John and challenge him to a match just because Garfield ate his airborne pizza. Hey, your cat ate my pizza! Yeah, you launched it in the air, dude. And he successfully gaslights John into, quote-unquote, accepting the challenge to a wrestling match that evening, which is an odd start for a feud. I mean, John even offered to buy him pizza for Mauler to make up for this, but the Mauler won't accept because the answer to this whole ordeal involves violence. So then this leaves John into a situation about making an important decision, and that results in him choosing to leave town. I mean, I do love that poster promoting Michigan, though. So John, he acknowledges the weight difference between himself and the Mauler, while also self-motivating himself into using strategy and beating him at his own game. I mean, I guess this makes the Masked Mauler modern-day Kane, and John, I guess, is Colin Delaney. So John asks Garfield his opinion, and Garfield just suggests, hey, maybe you should go to Portugal. So then upon returning home, then John decides he's not going to wrestle. John gets kidnapped by the Mamalukes and Mauler's manager before being thrown into a limo as a personal escort to the arena. How thoughtful. So at the arena, the announcer reveals that the Masked Mauler is undefeated with 940 wins. That may be more inflated than Psycho Sid/Sid Vicious' record in late WCW. So for some reason, John's in-ring nickname is Turnbuckle Arbuckle. So I guess that pretty much means he's getting rammed into tonight. Foreshadowing. So Mauler, he declares that he's going to hurt John so badly that his ancestors will feel it, and John weakly threatens to do the same thing to the Masked Mauler. How? I mean, I guess creative had nothing for his promo there. So John, he tries to get into the ring, and he tangles himself within the 2-roped wrestling ring. So once again, we have a wrestling ring without 3 ropes, like we saw with Ed and Eddy. But he tangles himself up worse than Stone Cold Steve Austin did at SummerSlam 99. And that Mauler, he's too big to climb through the ropes, so he just lifts up the turnbuckle with the rope still attached over himself to get in the ring. I mean, you could just climb over the top 2 ropes, you know. Do it the Kevin Nash style. And the referee won't even let John run away, but I mean, he can escape later if he wants, unless you suddenly drop like a lock steel cage around them or something to ensure no escape. So the Masked Mauler, right off the bat, he's already left disappointed in a potentially competitive match because John faints in the early moments of the match. I mean, that doesn't stop the Mauler from tying him up into a pretzel and throwing him out of the ring, which then sends John through the table/bench that Garfield was sitting on with all his food, and this launches the feline into the air, so we got flying pussy on television. The Masked Mauler then tries to splash Garfield, but the cat's speed then comes to his own advantage as he gets away. And the announcer, he's trying to tell his story that, oh, the crowd's pissed off, it's like, how dare the Masked Mauler go after a defenseless cat? No, I think they're pissed off that this match sucks because he's just running around the ring all the time. I mean, who really wants to see a masked guy chasing pussy in a wrestling ring? So John awakens at the aid of Odie's tongue, and at that point Garfield tries to be evasive by going off the ropes and springboarding himself. So this is the 3rd time in the podcast where somebody who's not a wrestler is getting in the ring and they're launching themselves off the ropes. Well, actually 4th time because we had 2 in the Ed and Eddy episode, but you know what I mean. Garfield is trying to get away, but he finally gets caught by his tail, and the Masked Mauler is threatening to twist up the cat. But then he throws Garfield away by showing signs of an allergic reaction. So, the Masked Mauler is allergic to pussy. We get it. So Eddy, he gets in the ring and decides to start helping Garfield send hair into the Masked Mauler. First he's trying to towel, and then instead he's using a blow dryer to blow him there. And, I mean, the Masked Mauler, he's still coming after Garfield. I mean, wouldn't it make sense to at least take, allergy medication before you get there because you establish a weakness? I mean, you gotta think strategy. Look at Garbaggio and Milk and Cookies from You Pick Live from back 20 years ago. So Masked Mauler, he ends up sneezing so hard that he unmasks himself, revealing his nerdy look to the audience. Like, oh man. Like, I was trying to find an actor to compare him to, like somebody might have a similar look or role, but I couldn't really find anything very easily. I would have said Napoleon Dynamite, but he didn't have red parted hair. So the humiliation leads to them unmasked Mauler deciding to flee the building, and that means Garfield is the winner via countout, and the referee raises his hand to declare him the new champion. 2 issues. Last I checked, Garfield wasn't a legal participant in all this, only John, and titles don't change hands via countout. Like, we just went through this in the Rugrats episode a little while ago, where the title changed hands via a referee decision being reversed into a disqualification that led to a title win. Now you get a title win where an illegal participant, who's not even human, and wasn't legal in the first place, like I just said, winning via countout, and he's the new champion. Last I checked, they were supposed to give an announcement saying that this could happen, and they didn't. So the episode ends with Garfield saying that he won by a nose. Yay! But it's just like, this doesn't make sense. Did somebody watch professional wrestling before doing this? Because this is, once again, a weird case. Like, the wrestling ring was not designed the way it's supposed to be, and you have a weird title change that happens under circumstances that were not made apparent. So yeah, this... Oh man, like I said, I still love this show. It brings a lot of nostalgia, but it's like when you've been watching wrestling for 20 years now, and you kind of understand the basic rules about what can and cannot be done, and you see an episode like this, it makes you wonder who was consulted for these rules. We saw that with the Rugrats episode, like I just mentioned. Ed and Eddy stuff also did not follow any rules in the Cul-de-Sac Championship Wrestling backyard E-Fed or whatever was going on, and now you got the weirdness of this. Like, if you guys were going to do this, at least make an announcement saying beforehand that a titles can change hands via countout, and you can also have another participant in there. Because John didn't tag out or anything. It wasn't Lucha rules saying somebody goes out and another person illegally or legally goes in without a tag. Okay, this... Oh, the confusion. I would love to know who really wrote this. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below. For anybody who's seen this episode of Garfield and Friends, even back in the day or even just recently, let me know what you all thought in the comment section below. I've got other shows that I can easily look at that are had wrestling theme episodes, because I got another good one in mind, but we'll get to that when we can. But anyway, let me know what you all thought in the comment section below. If you enjoyed today's episode, folks, remember, please leave a like, subscribe with the bell, turn on for notifications here on YouTube, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching, folks. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out, and good day, everybody.